Good evening. I was going to wear that, but luckily I didn't. Imagine the embarrassment.
Few words for level, please, Gregson.
Yeah, I was going to wear that.
Good evening. Welcome to Have I Got News for You? I'm Charlie Brooker. In the news this week, after weeks of negative press about dubious gifts, Angela Rayner reluctantly agrees to return some of her free shoes. Ahead of a busy day at a global summit, Emmanuel Macron undertakes his daily naked yoga routine, unaware his hotel room curtains are see-through. And as tensions rise in the region, North Korea unveils state-of-the-art new measures to stop people crossing the border. On Ian's team tonight is an artist who's famous for his teddy bear sidekick Alan Measles, although he's thinking of replacing him with a more up-to-date companion, Malcolm Monkeypox. Please welcome Grayson Perry. And on Paul's team tonight is a comedian whose dad owned a sex shop. It never affected her life until that traumatic 9th birthday when she asked for a rabbit. Please welcome Angela Barnes. We begin with the bigger news stories of the week. Paul and Angela, take a look at this.
Oh, yes, he's been doing that action ever since he was a teenager. Donald Trump, Kamala Harris. This is an American election coming up.
And that's the Labour leader, Keir Starmer. Are the Labour volunteers helping with the American election?
Yes, this was one case where the journalists were getting a bit overexcited. They were saying, the Labour volunteers have gone over to work on Kamala Harris's campaign, and this might affect our relationship with a Trump presidency, as if that was going to be any kind of normal relationship, if, God forbid, he wins.
I love this, the idea that, aren't they basically just door knockers and canvassers? The idea they could make any difference. Like, if door knocking worked, then, for a start, we'd all be Jehovah's Witnesses with excellent broadband.
Are you not? It's a manoeuvre to influence the election in favour of the Democrats. It's been dubbed Operation Zero Difference.
And also, Trump made this an issue. The week 100 sort of Labour volunteers coming over. This is the same week that Elon Musk is offering £1 million to any voter. It's essentially an enormous bribe to the electorate. So Trump is saying, what about these volunteers from Britain? They're going to make all the difference.
You enter a lottery by signing a petition supporting Trump. It's a bit of a loophole.
Yes.
And you have to be registered to vote in a swing state. And then you get entry to a prize draw to win $1 million. He's doing this every day.
Yeah.
Until the election.
Do you know who I feel for with this story? I think of poor old Stormy Daniels sitting at home watching this, going, they just have to sign a petition and they get $1 million. I only got 130,000. You don't want to know what I had to do.
The Republicans have made an official complaint about what they're saying is Labour interference. They called it blatant foreign interference by the far left.
Starmer, the far left, he must be so flattered. Yes, with all those Corbynites turning in their graves.
I mean, compared to American politicians, he is far left, though, isn't he? I mean, their left is kind of what? Middle of the Tory party.
Yeah, sort of Rishi Sunak.
Yeah.
To be fair to them, there is a bit of an unfortunate tradition of the British left trying to influence the US election.
Oh, this is with the Guardian newspaper. I can't remember which election it was now. A few years back.
It was. In 2004, the Guardian ran a letter-writing campaign encouraging Guardian readers to write letters to individuals in US swing states.
Yes.
They said things like this: please forgive this intrusion. I'm writing to you because I care about America deeply. And you may wonder why on earth your friends in Britain are telling you how to vote. And, oh, America, let us love you again. We might as well have opened with "Dear Stupid Yank."
Yeah, I mean, and in America they're making the same mistake again. You know, it's the left patronising the centre states, and they're going to. That's why Trump's going to win.
How do you think the Americans responded?
They voted the other way.
Yeah, but they actually responded personally to the letters.
Oh, right. So
They were very angry.
They were not delighted. They said things like, "Get back to your crappy little island with its shitty food."
To be fair, they've got a point. It's a bit like a cowboy turning up at your house to tell you to vote Lib Dem.
They also wrote back to say, "Have you not noticed that Americans don't give two shits what Europeans think of us? Each email you send telling us why not to vote for the Republicans is going to backfire, you stupid yellow-toothed hound." In the end, of course, the joke was on America, and John Kelly won, and he was a tremendous success, and he served 2 successive terms as president of Cloud fucking Cuckoo Land. Do you know who else has been complaining?
Is it our Nige?
It might be your night.
Farage himself has lobbied for Trump, and there's some question over whether Farage's plane tickets over there contravene the law about foreign intervention. So there is some suggestion that Farage himself might be hypocritical, which is difficult to believe. The Conservative Party, I mean, have frequently sent over volunteers. John Major sent over people to help George Bush get in. I mean, there is a tradition of doing this. It's just when the Labour Party do it, Trump turns it into an issue because he's worried about his actual interference with the election on the side.
Do they ever send people over here?
Yeah, they're Mormons.
Trump's longest-serving Chief of Staff, John F. Kennedy...
John F. Kennedy.
Breaking news.
Live on a comeback.
Yeah.
I knew someone had got shot at a rally.
John Kelly was his ex-chief of staff during the last time he was... or during the first time he was president, or during the only time he was president, depending on when this goes out on Dave Channel. He said that sort of essentially that Donald Trump is a fascist and that he was always sort of saying Hitler was good. And he did lots of good things.
Fair. I think there's obvious differences between... I mean, I don't think Trump can paint.
John Kelly called him a fascist.
Yes.
Technically, he's a fascist.
Yeah.
It's good to have that cleared up.
Yeah.
Because no one had spotted that. I think it was the bit about rounding up your opponents and using the military, and you thought, yeah, that's very left-wing. Oh, no, it isn't.
Well, they join up round the back, don't they? The extreme left and the extreme right.
They join that round the back?
They join up round the back. It's like, you know, if you've got the extremes, they're as bad as each other at the ends. Centrist dads like me.
You're an average centrist dad.
I am. Nowadays, yeah, I mean, you know, this is an average fashionable look.
I see you've just come back from a funeral.
Shall we move on to Kamala Harris?
Yes.
Yes.
Despite raising millions of dollars and making a slew of media appearances, what's she failing to do?
Shift the opinion polls.
There was a very cheering poll, though, that said that only about a quarter of America think there'll be civil war.
Yes.
Trump has been improving in the polls, but getting his voters out is perceived to be one of his main weaknesses. How has he been trying to get people to turn out for him?
This is not working at McDonald's, is it?
We're coming to that.
Oh, well, OK, I'll save that bit then.
He's been appearing on lots of sort of incel websites.
Yes, and working at McDonald's as well. Too early.
We're coming to that.
Oh, we're coming to that.
I'll give you a nod.
Give me a nod.
I'll give you a nod.
OK, yeah, I'll watch out for
Yeah,
that.
'cause one of the things that's interesting about the US election and across Europe as well is the kind of gender divide now.
You're close to what he's been trying to do. It's something to do with gender. He's been appealing to his female base. He said in one speech, "Get your fat husband off the couch, get that fat pig off the couch, slap him around, get him up." So, Paul,
Yes.
What do you think Trump might have done this week to appear like a man of the people?
He's been working at Burger King.
I think he's hired the whole store for a weekend. Those people aren't real. They're full of actors. And then Trump goes and does cosplay.
It's such a convoluted thing, isn't it? He's kind of like hiring people so he can appear authentic. It's like a weird
Yeah.
kind of...
That's like an art installation.
It is, yeah.
Would you like to see him at work?
Yes, please.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
Look at all the fake news over there. Hello, everybody.
You can fake this, right?
And you know this is compliments of Trump, okay?
Yes, thank
Okay.
you. Mr. President,
Yes.
please don't let the United States become Brazil, my native Brazil.
We'll keep
Please,
it good.
Please, please.
We're going to make it better than ever, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you. It's a
That's-
pleasure, Mr. President. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. President. You made it possible for ordinary people like us to meet you.
You're not ordinary.
I mean, thank you so much. We pray for you.
I don't know if you could tell, but that was staged.
He's doing it out of fury because.
Oh, because she worked at McDonald's.
Yeah, Kamala Harris said she worked in a
Yes.
McDonald's, and he said, "I don't believe you."
Yeah.
And then the Republicans said, "OK, if you worked there when you were 20, where's the invoices? Where's the receipts?" From 30 years ago, a part-time job. And she said, "I don't have them." And they said, "Aha, you're lying."
I think it's nice to see that McDonald's does give opportunities to convicted felons.
Trump, during his shift, he praised the kitchens as very clean. Do you know what happened the next day?
They were closed down by the health inspector.
Funnily enough, McDonald's US suffered a serious E. coli outbreak and had to withdraw some burgers from sale. Shall we have a quick quiz to see who here is a man of the people?
Yeah, sure.
OK. Which of you is most in touch with everyday Britons? OK, if I went to McDonald's
Yes.
and I ordered a double cheeseburger with medium fries, a large Coke Zero, and an Oreo McFlurry,
Yeah.
what would it cost me?
I have never been in a McDonald's in my entire life. So I'm thank you very much. So I'd like to opt out of this quiz. £6.80.
Is the right answer.
Can't be.
£4.19.
No, it's probably £10.46.
That's £7.
No, actually, the answer, I've got no idea. I'm in TV, so I only eat posh dinner parties. But if there are any plebs watching, please write in. And do tell us if you can afford a stamp, however much they cost. While Kamala has been denouncing Trump as a fascist at her events, what important issue has been on Trump's mind?
Oh, is this the size of Arnold Palmer's manhood?
Funnily enough, yes. Arnold Palmer, deceased golfing legend, is of great interest to Donald Trump. Do you want to see what he said at a rally the other day?
This is a guy that was all man. His man was strong and tough. And I refuse to say it, but when he took showers with the other pros, they came out of there, they said, "Oh, my God. That's unbelievable." I had to say it.
Are we sure he had a big penis, or did it just look big in Donald Trump's tiny hand?
The story doesn't even make any sense anyway, like all the golfers showering together. I mean, the golfers don't all finish a round of golf at the same time. You know.
While this has been going on with Trump, what has Vladimir Putin been up to?
He's been organising a conference.
Yeah. He's been organising a slightly scary conference.
Yeah, it was an Axis of Evil event.
Was that wasn't the official title, was it?
No, it was...
Is it the BRICS conference?
Yeah, because
It was.
everybody's shitting one.
BRICS, it stands for Brazil, Russia, India, China and South Africa.
Yes.
It's a shame Brazil joined and not Portugal.
This is the Trump campaign's accusation that Labour is interfering in the US presidential election. 100 Labour Party activists are heading to America intent on swinging the election for the Democrats, although they'll spend the first week desperately trying to find somewhere in Alabama that serves quinoa salad. Reacting to the news, a spokesperson for Trump said, "Every time the British try to interfere in America, it does not end well," starting with the defeat at the Battle of Yorktown all the way up to James Corden's chat show. Ian and Grayson, take a look at this.
OK, that's Kia in the call centre. Your call's important to us.
They've given her control of Kia. There's the Wester.
This is basically because everything is falling apart and there's no money to fix it. So, would you like to play a fun little game instead?
Yeah, sure.
course
What's
we
the
would.
game?
Yeah.
Is it called Have I Got News for You?
In honour of Labour's attempts to fix, change or otherwise patch up the country, we're playing a little game called Back, Sacked or Cracked. Basically, I show you a picture and I want you to tell me what it is and whether it's come back, getting sacked or is totally cracked. Fingers on buzzers.
Yes.
Here's your first one. What's this?
Is this the NHS? I think it's backed, though, the NHS.
It's cracked. It's cracked. It's well and truly cracked. Health Secretary Wes Streeting has got a big idea to fix the NHS, and do you know what it is?
You're saying he's found a way to stop the crack showing in the NHS? Is that to sew up the backs of those gowns?
Brilliant suggestion.
It's the consultation.
Yes.
And, of course, the public have responded in their usual glorious British way by suggesting things like every hospital should have a Weatherspoons.
Do you know some of the other things that the public suggested? This is on a website, basically.
They suggested that ambulances didn't have an alarm, but they had Danny Dyer shouting.
Out the way, eat less chips, you fat bastard.
They include building a Weatherspoons in every hospital, making a dog health secretary, offering lobotomies to the population of Birmingham, which I thought had already happened, changing all ambulance sirens to Danny Dyer shouting "Nino" and firing Wes Streeting out of a cannon. Can you think of any other ways to improve the nation's health?
Pay junior doctors a decent whack. Like, I read somewhere that junior doctors get paid less than an IT graduate, and you can't just turn a life support machine on and off again. I used to be a nurse, and I know I wasn't a good nurse, because when that pandemic happened in 2020, not one of my nurse friends suggested I go back to it.
While we're on health,
Yes.
have a look at this picture. Tell me what this is.
Is that Britain's gold reserves?
Scurvy.
It's back.
It's back.
Yeah, there were 171 cases reported in the NHS last year. I'm more excited about scurvy coming back than Oasis. Next, what is this? Is this back, sacked or cracked?
This is the water companies, is it?
Yeah, I'm assuming it's cracked, definitely.
It's the country's water pipe infrastructure.
Yeah.
Yes.
And there's also a very specific problem with it. It's something that affects IQ levels.
Lead?
It is lead. One of the big problems with our water supply is the amount of lead piping still in use. There are over 5 million lead pipes still in use. Back in 1969, water companies pledged to get rid of all lead piping by the year 2050. Based on their current rate, when do you think they will finish that job?
3006.
Is it never?
Paul was eerily close. It's actually the year 3273 AD. They haven't even got round to replacing the lead pipe in Cluedo yet, and that's time. Next bit of back, sacked or cracked?
Yes, go
back,
on.
sacked
Go
or
on.
cracked? OK, take a look at this.
This is Porridge, the sitcom. Ronnie Barker, Fort Mackay, Richard Beckinsale. They're letting prisoners out early to make more room for prisoners to go into prison.
You are right. This is the over 1,000 convicted criminals who are back on the streets this week after having their sentences cut short to free up space.
The papers and photographers are now outside prisons, just waiting for the early release day.
Yeah, wasn't there a guy who sort of posed with a Bentley?
Yeah, and there was a guy who was picked up in a Lamborghini.
It's a kind of prom.
It's a happy day.
Yeah, one of them said thank you to Keir Starmer for letting him out early.
He did. Would you want to see a picture of him?
Yeah,
You want to see a picture of him?
certainly
Here he
do.
is. Look,
There he is.
Daniel Dowling-Brooks. He told journalists, I kidnapped someone who owed my friend money. I tied him up and had him at gunpoint. It was bad, but not as bad as they made it. And he added, big up Keir Starmer.
Yeah.
Well, he said more than that, but his sentence got cut short.
Very good.
There's a moth flying around.
Yeah. I think it's jumped out of the script.
Your final back, sacked or cracked?
Sacked, hopefully.
It's a trick question, this.
Did he have a back sack and crack?
It's a trick question because he is all three. Most people think he's cracked. He was also sacked by his constituents, but now he's back. Do you know why he's back?
Is it because it's Halloween next week?
He's back on his own reality show. Here's a glimpse of it. Have a look. There you go. Sort of like a 1920s goggle box.
I like to see he sits on his own sofa in the same way he sits on the benches in the House of Commons, like his ventriloquist has gone for a piss.
Do you know what it's called, his show?
At Home with the Rees-Moggs.
Nearly, it's Meet the Rees-Mogg.
Oh, Meet the Rees-Moggs.
Should have called it Country File. This is the news that the government has unveiled a key plank of its NHS strategy. He's called Wes Street. One major part of the government's health policy is for the NHS to introduce a digital approach, something the Royal College of Proctologists has been practising for years. More than 1,000 prisoners have been released early because of overcrowding. One was asked if he'd be celebrating with a wild night of drink, drugs and casual sex. He replied, "I've had enough of that inside for the last 4 years." So to round two, the picture spin quiz. Fingers on buzzers again, everyone.
Yes, King Charles, Queen Camilla, been in Australia, as indicated by them coming down the steps. There's been some demonstrations by Aboriginal spokespeople who quite rightly have got a lot to complain about. Yeah, so there's a big talk about whether Australia should become a republic.
You're absolutely right. This is Indigenous Australian Senator Lydia Thorpe.
Yes.
She heckled the King during a reception at Parliament House in Canberra. She shouted, "You committed genocide against our people. You are not my king. Fuck the colonies." I think they've already done that.
He said, "Oh, have you come far?"
Someone else didn't give the King the warmest welcome?
Yeah, the senators, the regional heads didn't turn up.
That may well be true.
Yes.
I'm only aware of a reality that exists printed on these cards.
Fine.
And outside of that, my knowledge is hazy.
Yeah, well, forget it.
That might be true. So someone else didn't give someone not human.
Kangaroo. Wallaby.
You're really stereotyping Australia here.
No, that's where kangaroos and wallabies are from. Wallabies are wannabe kangaroos.
It was an alpaca.
An alpaca?
An alpaca wearing a crown.
Yes.
Which sneezed on him. Do you want to see it?
Yeah, go on then.
Have a look.
Is that a real alpaca or is it Bernie Clifton?
What did one woman outside a church in Sydney do to welcome him?
Did they dance together?
She played the flute. She played the flute at him. What was particularly impressive about the performance?
She didn't put it in her mouth.
What was impressive was that she'd only learned how to play God Save the King that very morning. Do you want to have a look?
Yeah, got him.
Oh.
Okay, straight over. Come here, pass.
Didn't bother to learn the second half. What other festivities did the Australians lay on for the royal couple?
Don't know, but there's always a big dinner, but it can't be that.
Oh, barbecue.
Barbecue.
And then the King did stuff with sausages.
That's his hands, Ian.
Charles and Camilla experienced a sausage sizzle. Do you want to see their sausage sizzle?
Yes.
We can't imagine what it would look like.
Here you go.
Did you ever meet Arnold Palmer?
This is the royal visit to Australia, where Charles was heckled and sworn at by an Australian senator. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese said her behaviour was not of the standard Australians expect, because she was sober and didn't punch him. In a speech to Parliament, Charles reminisced about an earlier visit to Australia when he had to contend with brown snakes, spiders and eating unmentionable parts of a bull, after which Ant and Dec gave him 3 stars for camp. OK, fingers on buzzers.
Yes, this is clearly the photo tells us all, really, the Photoshop. It's a sheep has clearly been producing some art.
Are you telling me that's photoshopped?
Well, I don't think that beret looks real. Some artwork has been created by a sheep. I very much doubt that it's used those 2 brushes that it's got on the floor there.
Have you seen this story?
No. There's always an animal doing art whenever I come on.
This is the news that a sheep in South Africa has learned to paint. Would you like to see
He
it?
hasn't learned to paint.
It's a lie.
He just hasn't, though, has it?
Do you want to see it?
Yeah, go on, let's have a look.
Yeah.
There it is.
Are we looking for sheep-based painters' puns here? Rembrandt, is that one of them? Have you got one there?
You're nearly. Yeah.
Nearly.
He's called Banksy. Although the Daily Star preferred to call him Lamb Goff.
That's dreadful.
Rembrandt was better. Would you like to see...
No, I don't think we do, actually.
Here you go. What's this? What's he painted here?
Feeding time.
Is it a self-portrait?
It is an animal.
It isn't.
It's a rhino.
It's a warthog. You're close, obviously.
How do you know it's a walk? Did they ask the sheep?
Can you identify this animal that Banksy has painted?
Yeah, it's an aardvark.
That's a rooster.
It's a pelican.
It's not.
Those 2 were really difficult, to be fair. Do you want an easy one?
Yeah, let's give us one that we can easily guess.
Yeah. I'll get an easy one to finish on.
Yeah, go on then.
Here's
Okay.
What's this?
Yeah.
That's
It's a jellyfish, obviously.
African dung beetle.
Well, it's shit.
I can't tell you on how many levels this is depressing.
What does Banksy's owner, Joanne Lefson, have to say about his talents?
They're non-existent.
She says, Banksy proves that sheep are not stupid.
Just the rest of us are.
Do you know how Banksy learnt his craft?
Did he do a foundation course and then a couple of years at the Courtauld?
He learnt from the best because he grew up with a pig painting prodigy, Picasso. Isn't it amazing that the same owner has managed to rear 2 animals that can paint?
Makes you understand the history of art, really, doesn't it?
Yeah, Renaissance Florence.
Yeah, you know, Paris in the turn of a century.
This farmyard.
Surely the pig should be called Francis Bacon.
Do you want to know...
No. I've exhausted this story.
Nearly. I've got some final dregs to squeeze out.
Yeah, go on
Because,
then.
one day, according to owner Joanne, the sheep picked up a paintbrush in his stall and started painting.
What was a paintbrush doing in its stall?
Yeah, with paint on it.
Yeah.
And a canvas. And the owner holding it, rubbing it against his face.
Do you know where Picasso is these days?
Yeah,
In
he's in a
sandwich.
sandwich.
Here he is. This is a sheep in South Africa who, it says here, can paint. Here's the sheep with one of his paintings. I'd like to think one day we'll see that hanging somewhere for about 6 days until it's nice and gamey. Fingers on buzzers again.
These are the guys who have met in a pub every Thursday for 56 years, I think it was.
So a bunch of blokes meet up every Thursday for 56 years.
Yeah.
You got any idea what that might be like?
I don't know, because today's Friday.
Sorry, I was breaking the illusion there, wasn't I?
Yeah, you are breaking the illusion. This is live.
That's them now. That's them today. Do you want to see them back in the day?
I think so.
There they are, many years ago.
I see one of them used to be a woman.
According to the BBC, in the intervening years, they've had 17 children, 33 grandchildren and 6 great-grandchildren, still putting them narrowly behind Boris Johnson.
I think it's a testament to the life-giving elixir that is beer.
Is it life-giving, though?
5 of them are vampires because only one of them is showing a reflection in the mirror behind them. That's a worry. They're the undead.
What do you think they talk about when they meet up?
They probably do the organ recital like all old people do.
The what?
The organ recital, you know, like, how are you? Like, well, my stomach's a bit...
They were interviewed about what their secret is.
Is it that 5 of them sleep in coffins filled with the earth from Transylvania?
Not to my knowledge, no. They were asked on BBC Radio Sheffield about the importance of men opening up for the sake of their mental health. This is what they said.
I think times have changed, haven't they? And especially for men, like talking about feelings, talking about things that you're worried about. Are you good at that?
We don't do emotional type stuff.
The most Yorkshire thing I've ever seen.
This is the story about a group of men who've been meeting every Thursday night for the past 56 years. The elderly gents meet in a pub in picturesque rural Yorkshire, though obviously they need to leave promptly if they want to catch the last tin bath down the hill. You're going to have to say that all again in my ear.
You're sacked.
Gotcha. OK. Time now.
Why have you started talking like that?
That's how I talk. Time now.
We've been coming here 56 years. Time now.
Now you've made me super self-conscious.
Yeah.
OK.
Well, don't be super self-conscious. Just don't go, time now.
Time now for the odd one out round. Just one between you this week.
Well.
Here you go! All right? They are Donald Trump, David James, King Conker again, and the child catcher from Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
Now, David James was in the news. He was at the Liverpool game. He used to be a Liverpool goalkeeper, I think. And during half-time, they had some entertainment where a small child, was taking penalties against him, but he didn't. He saved them. The Conker man, I think his opponent was much younger than him. The person that he beat in the World Championships of the Conker, a perfectly legitimate Conker. There was no way, in any way, was considered controversial once it was proved that it was a genuine Conker and not made by British Leyland.
He did have a steel Conker, he just didn't use it.
It's about making kids cry, because he made the children who took the penalties, they didn't get them, and they cried. And Donald Trump shouted at someone in one of his rallies because the baby cried.
Right.
And the child catcher, who looks like Peter Mandelson but isn't, and we'll make that really clear next week, he doesn't in any way look like him. The children cry.
Yeah, and so the Conker man is the odd one out because he defeated his opponent fairly and squarely, and the child, a younger person, did not cry.
You're absolutely right.
Yay!
Thank you.
They have all upset children,
Yep.
except King Conker,
Yep.
who really was entertaining kids with his metal conker.
Yeah.
Yes.
This was the controversy that rocked the world of sport.
It was rocked.
Do you know what an investigation into King Conker has now concluded?
Cleared him completely.
Yeah.
Completely innocent.
At the highest level,
Yeah.
they got the UN in,
Yeah.
and they made it absolutely clear that he's innocent.
He's been cleared of cheating at the World Conker Championships by using a steel nut he had in his pocket. A spokesperson for the championships told The Guardian, "We have studied photos and videos of matches, interviewed judges and examined King Conker's chest." So it was a thorough investigation.
Excellent.
Great.
Now, you alluded to it earlier. What did former England and Liverpool goalkeeper David James do to upset a child?
Saved penalties.
Well, yes. During half-time at the Liverpool v Chelsea game on Sunday, a young Liverpool fan was given a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to score a penalty in front of the whole COP against James. However, James saved the 11-year-old's penalty.
Yeah.
Here it is. Very, very sad. Very, very sad moment. To be fair to David James, he got booed by the crowd, so he gave the kid a second chance. Here's how that turned out.
Yeah.
He looked like he was trying to miss it, and his foot just caught it.
He was showing off. He thought, I can get this one with my foot.
When I got married in 2009, one of the special treats we had with the guests is you could take penalties against Peter Shilton.
It was brilliant.
Yeah.
I had a go.
Yeah.
Guess what?
He saved it.
I missed.
My wife Suki scored. So did Bruce Forsyth.
Oh, not a wedding night?
Yeah, not the wedding night.
In Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, the child catcher is employed to catch children and imprison them in the fictional land of Bulgaria, or as it's known in the real world, Luton. You nearly got that. Donald Trump, do you know how he upset a child? It wasn't the incident you were referring to.
Oh, right. Given that he is a huge baby...
Something to do with mowing the lawn? No, that's something else.
That sounds like a dream that you've had.
Well, sorry.
Trump mowing the lawn?
No.
What was he wearing?
I'm in a studio.
Yeah, with some other artists. There's a pig, a number of sheep.
It was actually Christmas time as part of a sort of PR opportunity when he was still president.
Yes.
He took a call from a 7-year-old who wanted to ask about Santa, and this is the response that Trump gave.
No.
Well, that's really good. Did you just have a good time? Are you still a believer in Santa? Because at 7 it's marginal, right?
I think that's the first time I've ever seen him smiling.
Yes, you were right. They've all upset children, except King Conker, who really was entertaining kids with his metal conker. Yeah, that old chestnut. Here is King Conker himself. Don't worry, his social life doesn't just revolve around conkers. In his spare time, he goes to his local pub, kneels on all fours and gets used as a snooker table. Time now for the Missing Words round, which this week features as its guest publication, Goat Rancher. We start with this. Firemen left red-faced after what?
Fireman left red-faced after mistaking a black bin liner for Puma in tree.
Fireman left red-faced after state-of-the-art fire station burns down. This is a brand new fire station in Germany which burnt down when a fire broke out because it hadn't been fitted with fire alarms to detect the blaze. 999, cried the firemen as they watched the flames spread. Next, darts player admits what 46 times in one day?
Counting half hours. With 1 hour for lunch.
Yeah.
Eating pork scratchings.
You know what? The answer is eating a bag of crisps.
Is it really?
Here he is. This is dance player Kevin Mills, who lives entirely off bread and crisps, and he once ate 46 packets of crisps in a single day, which ironically comes out at 180,000 calories. Next, what could be the most impractical fashion trend ever?
Knee-length hats. See-through scarves.
What's wrong with a see-through scarf?
Do you like the one I'm wearing?
The answer is actually one-legged trousers.
That's a skirt.
OK, next, if you what, then expect a visit from the Spanish goat police.
If you impersonate a Spanish goat, are you a goat? Si, senor.
That's eerily accurate.
Eerily accurate, that's a Spanish goat. Si, senor.
Is that a Mexican goat?
No, it's a Spanish goat. Si, senor.
It's actually, if you need to verify the identity of your goat, then expect a visit from the Spanish goat police.
I hate to say this, but nobody expects a visit from the Spanish goat police.
Next, police called to church coffee morning after what?
Tea brewed by devil.
It's police called to church coffee morning after member of the congregation brings along live World War I pop. As you do.
Harvest Festival.
Bomb disposal experts had to be called to a church in Manchester this week when a parishioner turned up with a live shell to show friends. The live World War I shell was the most explosive thing they've had in St Paul's Church, Withington, apart from last year's open house discussion about gay marriage. Next, New Zealand limits hugging to what?
I saw this. It was 3 minutes in the airport.
You're absolutely
you.
right.
There's another woman who reads the paper.
New Zealand limits hugging to just 3 minutes at airport.
Right.
Yeah, and it's going to make, you know, Richard Curtis films very short.
Don't they call it the French leave when you just go? You
That's
go
a
outside
French
the bar.
exit. When you
French
just
exit, yeah.
disappear out of a party.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or a war.
But we're favourite.
This is the news that officials at an airport in New Zealand have limited goodbye hugs to just 3 minutes to reduce congestion in the drop-off zone. Do you want to see the sign they put up? Here
Yes,
it is.
please.
Here it is. As you can see there, it says...
So they're encouraging dogging, basically. aren't they?
Exactly. Next, man hopes to bring joy to many by creating a calendar that what?
That has 12 pictures of Arnold Palmer in tight trousers.
By creating a calendar that has a goat illustrating every month of the year.
More exciting than that.
2 goats illustrating every month of the year.
It's actually, man hopes to bring joy to many by creating a calendar that features junctions of the M60 motorway. Here is Stuart Atkinson with his motorway calendar.
Well, it's clearly brought him joy, hasn't it?
He was inspired, apparently, to create his M60 calendar after noticing the British tradition of silly calendars, including a calendar of council tips.
Yes.
I think he's provided one item that was going to feature heavily in that. Finally, King Charles complimented a goat in Guernsey by what?
By making it an admiral of the fleet.
Was it by text?
Ian, you were surprisingly close. King Charles complimented a goat in Guernsey by giving it an honour.
And what was that? Is it Baroness Moan? Entirely innocent.
Here is the King honouring the rare goat on a recent trip to the Channel Islands. Do you think that cheapens your knighthood, Sir Grayson?
Well, no. I mean, if they can be artists, then they can be knights as well. Fine.
Who do you get a knighthood off? Which government?
The Tory government. I'm a crossbench, sir.
Time up, and the final scores are Ian and Grayson have 5, but Paul and Angela have 7.
Well done.
However, before we go, there's just time for the caption competition. Ian and Grayson have this.
Goat-themed Extinction Rebellion team.
That's what I call a stag do. Tory members convene for last vote.
Paul and Angela, get this.
We must never say what happened to Gerald.
On that note, we say thank you to our panellists, Ian Hislop and Sir Grayson Perry, Paul Merton and Angela Barnes, and I leave you with news that at a literary festival in Essex, there's a world first as a book loses all of its value the instant its author signs it. After 2 years on an NHS waiting list, one man looks for an alternative way to cure his constipation. And in Florida, Donald Trump gets Melania to help him with his Halloween costume. Good night.